Hi there and welcome back. How are you today? So, in this beautiful video, I received a message from one of the subscribers and they were showing concern for one of my videos where I was sharing painful memories from my childhood. And I love you dearly for your concern. I really, really do. And you know who you are. I've already answered your beautiful message. But in this video, I just wanted to share when I am guided to talk about painful memories from my childhood or share with you my childhood trauma. It's not that it hasn't been healed or any of that. I am guided to share my pain so that it may help others connect with their pain. It's not for any other reason. I am so clear as to what I am doing here. I am a mirror for you, that you may see yourself. When there are topics of pain, painful childhood memories, painful trauma, it's to help that come up for you, that you can look at it, that you can see it for what it truly was. When you see the beautiful love that is there, when you look at these videos, when you feel this love coming through, this love is you. I am just your mirror. The love that you see, the love that you feel is already in you. It is recognizing it in the mirror. You are seeing it in the mirror because it's already in you. When you are in a blissful state of love, all you see is love. These painful memories from childhood are love, because we see it through the eyes of the soul. We see it for what it was that we came to experience. We don't have any judgments on it, that it was good or bad, or that it was right or wrong. It just was what we chose to come and experience, because without that experience, we can't know how it feels. You know, as I was reading this beautiful message, so full of love this morning, and they were genuinely concerned, you know, that I hadn't healed the pain, the trauma. With my mother-in-law, we've been working through our childhood for the past 12 years. I'm trying to work out how many years now, but it was since my daughter was born. From the moment she was born, in that very year, I found a self-esteem course, and the two of us, I asked her, do you want to do it with me? And we did. And from then, from that moment on, we've been constantly each other's psychologists, if you like. You know, we've been working with each other, helping each other through all our childhood. So, and I know for me that my husband has been, for me, he's been the biggest help, if you like, if you want to use that word. I'm trying to think of the best word, but he's always pushing me to look at things that I don't want to look at, you know, because it's too painful or it caused too much trauma and I just don't want to look at it. And he's always pushing me to look at it, because that's what love does. It never gives up until you realize what it is, you know. Your separate I. When we create this ego and we separate from the love that we are, it is your separate I that needs peace. It's your separate I that needs love. It's your separate I that needs joy. when you reconnect with the love that you truly are, when you remember who you truly are, you realize that you are the love. You are peace. And you are joy. You already are all these things. It's who you always were. They don't go anywhere. They're always inside of you. They are who you are. But to have this gorgeous human experience, we put all that aside. Because without putting it aside, we cannot know what it is to feel shame, what it is to feel guilt, what it is to suffer, what it is to feel grief, jealousy, envy. What are all these beautiful feelings? That is what we come to experience. In our natural state, we have all the information of the universe. It's already within us, but it is just that information. Without coming here to this beautiful simulation, we cannot know for ourselves what it feels like. What does it feel like? I remember at the age of 12, I was remembering today, I got my periods for the first time. And nobody had ever talked to me about this, that this was going to happen, that this is natural. I'd never had a talk about it with anyone. They didn't teach it at school. Nowadays, at least they teach it at school, because my daughter's already been shown, they've had lots of talks at school. And and anyway, so nowadays they do talk about it, at least at school. But when I was growing up, it wasn't something that was talked about anywhere, but so the first time I got my periods, I was sitting in the bathroom and I couldn't stop crying because I thought I was dying. The year before, I'd had my appendix out. And so in my mind, something had gone wrong with that operation and I was bleeding out. Like I was bleeding internally and it was coming out that way. And I was freaking out in the toilet. And we had just gone overseas to visit all my aunts. So I'm sitting in my aunt's toilet, devastated that I'm dying. That's it. It's the end. Anyway, my aunt comes to the door and she knocks on the door because I'd been in there for ages. I don't even know how long I'd been in there, but I didn't want to come back out, right? Because this isn't normal. And my aunt came to the door, are you okay? Are you okay? And I couldn't talk, I was so distraught. So she asked if she could come in and I said yes. And she comes in and then she saw what was going on. So she went and got my mum, And then my mum was like, oh yeah, this is normal. You're going to get this for the rest of your life. It comes every month, deal with it. Gave me a pad and here you go. But, the experience to me was quite distressing, to the point that I always swore that if I ever had a daughter, she would know from very early on, way, way, way before she'd ever get them, that she was going to get them, that this is a natural thing, that she'd be aware that this was going to happen and not have to go through that moment thinking that you're dying because nobody has sat for 1 minute to tell you that this is going to happen, that this is natural, that this is normal. All women go through it, So, without that experience, I would never know how that feels. Because then, after that, for a very long time, I was always in the back of my mind, what else haven't they told me? My parents, what else is going to happen to me in this life that I'm not aware of and they're not telling me? Because to me, that was quite traumatic, that moment in time. But that's the experience I came to have. Without that experience, I wouldn't know what it feels like to go through that moment of fear that you think you're dying. And then the upset and the anger with the people around you. This is a pretty big thing. How could you not tell me that this was going to happen to me? All the feelings that came up with that event, all of it. We go through it so that we know how it feels. Without it, you can't know. Like the first time I was just remembering today as well, the first time I had to take antibiotics in the form of a pill, because up until that point we had the liquid form. And the doctor said, oh, she's 12 now, she's old enough, she should be taking the tablets instead. And my mum kept giving me the 2 tablets that I had to take, and I'd put them in and they kept getting stuck and I kept spitting them out into the sink. So by this stage, there were about 6 of them in the sink because I was like, I couldn't swallow them. I couldn't work out what to do with my throat to get them down. And by the 6th one, my mum had lost her patience. And when I got up from the sink from spitting it out, I look up at her and she slapped me across the face. And she said, swallow it. And so I did. But I went through that experience, and that experience has stayed with me forever. What does it feel like when someone slaps you in the face? With disappointment, with frustration, with anger. So, all of those things, today I was sitting with how I felt, how it made me feel like a failure, But at the same time, I sat with that and I thought, how did she feel? Within herself, to be so frustrated. What was going on in her life? What was going on with her that she felt the need to slap her daughter that way with all her might? So my cheek was red for a couple of hours after that, And I always remember that she did that just because I didn't know how to swallow those tablets. But it's the experience that we're here for how others make us feel and how we make others feel. Your soul is constantly gathering information, but it's a different kind of information. It's testing all the theories of everything that it has in its database, your soul, and it's turning it into knowledge. Oh, now I know how that feels to be slapped in the face by your mother with anger, with disgust. My soul now knows how that feels. So everything that we share here, everything that we talk about is to help bring up in you what's trapped inside. Because the moment I sat down to write this beautiful book, Your Past is a Gift, I didn't leave any stone unturned. I decided that I was going to look at every single event, every single moment of my childhood would be accounted for. And within every single moment, I would look at it for what I was being at that time. What was I being that attracted that? I looked at each event through the eyes of my soul. Was what I was looking for. I was looking for the gift. Each event, what did that give me in terms of knowledge? What was I trying to gain from that event? What was my soul trying to gain? Why did I have that childhood and not a different one? Why do you have the childhood that you have and not a different one? When millions of children are born into famine, millions of children are born into war, millions of children are born into poverty. Some are born into wealth. Some are born into homes where there's domestic violence. Some are born into homes where there's sexual abuse. Why the childhood that you had? Have you ever stopped to question that? Why did I have this childhood? Why? Why this one? Why not? Why weren't my parents taken away when I was 5? Why did that happen to my mother and not me? You know, that very fear stuck in the back of my head when my daughter was born. What if I die when she's 5 and she's left all alone in the world? And that's what prompted that first book. I wanted her to have all that knowledge, all that wisdom for her growing up if I wasn't around. The little wisdom that I had gathered so far, because since then it's just grown and grown and grown and expanded, because I've never stopped asking and allowing and accepting the beautiful information that they bring through every single day. So today, I think is a beautiful day for you to sit with yourself and ask, why did I have the childhood that I had? So there's your question for today. And for this, many times, you know, from the human perspective, all you will see is pain and suffering, and you're a victim. You were a victim. This is the human experience. But what does your soul say? What does your higher self say when it looks at your childhood? Because the higher self, the soul, only sees love. Love for you, that you came, and that it now has gained all this beautiful knowledge from the experiences that you had. The soul only has love, only sees love, is only love. It knows nothing else. It comes here to collect all this beautiful information so it can expand, it can grow, just like we can grow. If we can look at all the beautiful events from our past and we can see the gift in each moment, the gift, what we learn about ourselves, what we learn about the world through the eyes of love, not from the eyes of the victim. That's the human experience. That's the separate I. That's the ego. A lot of people like to call it ego. The ego will see victimness forever. The ego will tell you that you need to heal it, and you will be here healing it forever, because there's no end. There's no end to it. So we hope that in this beautiful video a lot has come up for you. Your heart is starting to stir with love. Love for you, love for your beautiful experiences, love for your life, that you are here, that you have all this beautiful knowledge because of everything that you've been through. I know what that feels like now because I've experienced it. I've been through it. So, my beautiful beings, I leave you with these beautiful thoughts today. I am simply a mirror. That's all I'm doing here. That's all my job is to reflect back to you the love that you are. And when we bring up things like painful memories or trauma or things like that, any of the experiences we share with you, it's not to look at it, oh, that wasn't right, that's wrong, that's not good, that was bad. It's not for us to look at it that way. We are sharing it so that it may bring up that pain that is still stuck inside of you. We are hoping that these experiences will be a mirror to your experiences, And you will start to see them through the eyes of love instead of through the eyes of the victim, the eyes of the separate I, the eyes of the ego. All right, my darlings, that's all. When you remember the love that you are, you will see that love is all there is. I love you, my darlings. Thank you so much for all your love. I love you too. Remember to click like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the messages. And my heart. I just felt so loved today with that message. Thank you so much. Welcome. I love you too, darling. Bye for now.